If you had told me 20 years ago that I was going to have a device that I would carry with me everywhere that would essentially be listening to me 24 hours a day, I would probably have objection to that. I would probably say, absolutely not. I'm never going to agree to that. And on that device, I would willingly give companies all kinds of private information like my credit card number, my bank information, all of that would just go into this device. That I would take pictures of myself and let brands use those pictures for any reason that they want to use my face for. I would never have believed you, but here I am. So the question is, are we getting a little too comfortable giving companies our information, including our face? That is what a proposed class action lawsuit was trying to find out when they challenged Charlotte Tilbury over her online try-on tool for the makeup that she sells on her website. Was the tool going too far in capturing people's faces and not getting permission for the things that they were using those images for? That class action has now been settled, and I have all of the details for you. We'll also talk consumer protection and Sephora Kids, one of their favorite skincare companies, Drunk Elephant, and the claims that they made that some of their products are safe for kids and tweens. I will tell you the verdict and how popular TikToker Alix Earle is involved. Out of the UK, Boots was asked to take down a commercial that they produced for their number 7 skincare line due to a lighthearted and flippant tone around sun safety. I have all the details on that as well. After that, we'll talk about the sad news of the legendary indie makeup company Colored Rain closing their doors, as well as Walmart having a plan for when you go into their store and you just want to buy makeup and everything has a lock on it. They have a plan to make your shopping experience easier. I have details on that as well, along with a couple of other stories. So if you're interested, I'm about to tell you all of it right now. Hello, my friend. Welcome back to What's Up in Makeup, where we talk about everything that happened across the cosmetic industry all in one place. This is the top news segment. Typically, I produce a product report that goes live on Mondays. I was not able to fully get that together. It is an extremely time-consuming task that I ran out of time for. However, this week in our live chat that I do on Sundays, we're going to do a mini product report. I'm going to talk about some of the things that were launched over the past couple of weeks that I find very, very interesting and get your take on it. So look for that link in the video description. Also, if you're watching this on Sunday, you might be able to catch us live. I go live every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern time. So if it's still within that 10 to 11 a.m. window, come over to the link in the video description and come join us. If not, totally okay to watch it on the replay. And because I'm not doing the product report tomorrow, I am going to insert the PR purchase product of the week segment that you all have been absolutely loving. I did record how I got this makeup look today and what new products that I tried out. So stay tuned for that at the end of this show. And with that being said, let us get into talking about Charlotte Tilbury because, we know technology is amazing. The advancements that we've made over the past even 5 years are ridiculous. But as a wise superhero once said, with great power comes great responsibility. Even when it comes to virtual makeup try-on tools. You know the ones I'm talking about. You either hold the camera live in front of your face or you take a picture and you submit it, and then you can choose what makeup from their website that you want to try on your actual face, and you'll be able to see an image of what maybe a lipstick looks like or an eyeliner or a pair of false lashes or whatever it may be. You can see it actually applied on your real face. That's the technology we're talking about today. Of course, they can be so fun. They can be super helpful, but there are concerns about how giving our face to brands may be a bad thing because they're not necessarily telling us what they're doing with our face after they have it. In early January of 2023, London-based Charlotte Tilbury faced a proposed class action lawsuit that alleged they captured, without consent, biometric facial scans through their virtual try-on feature on charlottetilbury.com. The suit alleged that this violated the law in one specific place, the state of Illinois. It is called the Illinois Biometric Information Privacy Act, or BIPA. It is not a federal law here in the US, but a state law of one individual state. According to the suit, Charlotte Tilbury had also breached the BIPA by failing to provide guidelines on how long the user's biometric data would be stored, when it would be destroyed, and by neglecting to inform consumers that their information would be disclosed to third parties affiliated with the company. Now, if you don't live in the US, you may be a little confused on how all this works. Even if you live in the US, not all of us keep up on how the laws work here. So we have federal law, and then each individual state has laws. And what's been happening at the federal level is that we've had so much argument between our two parties in our Congress, which is our lawmaking body, that not a lot is really getting done. There aren't a lot of laws being passed except for the ones that they can agree on. And what happens because of that is that laws like consumer protection don't end up necessarily making much headway very quickly. So individual states are then left to decide, okay, is this important enough to the people of our state that we want to do something about this? That is when the state legislator can get involved and they can make their own rules for their individual state. And this gets very complicated when you're dealing with things having to do with the internet, because as we know, the internet is international. And with any companies, including cosmetic companies, now that there are so many laws being made by individual states, you have to keep track of not just federal law, but 50 states' individual laws. As well as territories if they apply. Not all cosmetic brands ship to all the US territories. And with our most recent election, with Republicans taking control of everything, it's likely that this will continue because Republicans tend to lean toward less government involvement. They tend to lean toward deregulation. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen in going forward of who the Republican Party now is, but that has been the way it has been traditionally. So if that continues, where they're continuing to put, hey, this is not our issue as a federal government, it is going to be up to the states, this could create even more individual laws throughout the 50 states, complicating things tremendously. And that's what I think happened here with Charlotte Tilbury, is they probably were keeping an eye on US federal law, but lost track of that individual Illinois state law. Per the class action lawsuit, the scan of facial data, considered a biometric identifier by the BIPA, is gained without the user's knowledge or consent, and no written policy on the site discloses how long the data will be stored or if it will be destroyed. The suit also added that Charlotte Tilbury could essentially take this biometric data and they could share it with whoever they wanted to for their own financial gain. I'm not saying that they did that. I'm not saying they had nefarious intentions. The law and the class action basically says that just that they could, based on the way everything was set up, not that they actually were. So as of October 24th, 2024, Charlotte Tilbury Beauty has agreed to pay nearly $3 million or 2.2 million pounds to settle the proposed class action lawsuit. Eligible individuals can file a claim now for some cash. So if you live in Illinois and you have used this service, pay attention because you might be due a lot of money. The Charlotte Tilbury settlement, of course, covers anyone who, while in Illinois, you don't even have to be a resident, but if you were in the state of Illinois and you use the beauty tech tools or any other virtual try-on tools on charlottetilbury.com or the Charlotte Tilbury app anytime between December 1st of 2019 and August 31st of 2023, you are eligible to file a claim. The deadline to file is January 2nd of 2025. And this is not a Family Dollar, everybody gets a $20 Family Dollar gift card kind of situation. This is a lot of money. So each class member who files a timely, valid claim form will receive an equal share of the settlement fund. They are estimating that each person that files a valid claim will get between $700 and $1,100 each because they're assuming that not a lot of people are going to file, and there's $3 million up for grabs. The final approval hearing is scheduled for February 26th of 2025. In addition to the $3 million that they are going to pay out, they also said that they are going to make changes to their website and app to comply with BIPA. So if you think you qualify for this, I have all the information down below on how to apply. And aren't you glad you watch What's Up in Makeup? You never know when it could benefit you. In late 2023 and early 2024, there was a lot of talk about Sephora kids. You know, the kids that were going into Sephora and wreaking absolute havoc. You know, they were going in and they were trying all the samples and they were making a huge mess of the store and buying skincare that was inappropriate for their skin. I have a whole video on my thoughts on that. I will link it down below for you in case you're curious how I felt about it. You know, science-based, mom-based thoughts on that topic. But one of the biggest pieces of that I actually didn't cover in that video, but a lot of other creators covered, was the kids going into the store and making a mess of the testers, especially the Drunk Elephant testers, because Drunk Elephant encourages people to make what they call smoothies, which is a concoction of using a bunch of Drunk Elephant products together and mixing them and putting them all on your face at once. So the kids were going into the store and they were just making a huge mess, making these smoothies, and it was left for the employees to clean up. Absolutely awful. But even though it was probably awful for the Sephora employees, it was not awful for Drunk Elephant because these kids were going in, taking their parents' money and buying $70 marula oil. So Drunk Elephant sees this opportunity for a new customer base, and they started posting about that there were some products in their line that were safe for kids and tweens. Even to this day, they use Gen Alpha and young Gen Z friendly language. This caption says, "If it's sus, it's not for us. Get all the skin support you need without potentially irritating ingredients." And then this caption next to a picture of a pillow with a bunch of makeup on it that looks kind of like a face, it says, "Wears makeup once. Slay the next day with the buttery cleanser that melts away last night's look." Some of the products that they do say are okay for kids and tweens are the marula oil, the Bee Hydra moisturizer, and the D Bronzy bronzing drops. They do, however, warn against using some of their more potent products like the retinols and the chemical exfoliators. Watchdog organizations like the Better Business Bureau and the National Programs National Advertising Division looked into the claims made by Drunk Elephant because they were starting to get complaints. And the Better Business Bureau found out that Drunk Elephant did provide a reasonable basis for its claim that certain skincare products are safe for kids and tweens to use. As far as the National Advertising Division, or the NAD, they also looked into the claims and said that regarding the safe for kids and tweens statement, Drunk Elephant got a passing grade. They said that the brand had a reasonable basis for kids and tweens using their products. But while they got a pass for marketing for kids, it also made the NAD look into other advertising practices that they were doing and found other violations of FTC guidelines. The FTC is here in the US to protect consumers against deceptive advertising practices. So they determined that 2 TikTok videos demonstrating and reviewing Drunk Elephant's Be Goldie Bright Drops, quote, did not sufficiently disclose the material connection between Drunk Elephant and the influencers promoting its products. They then recommended that Drunk Elephant contact the people that were in violation and ask them to modify their posts. Drunk Elephant said absolutely they would do that. They also said that they would do better at when they sent out PR for these potentially unpaid posts, that they would give more information to influencers about how to disclose properly and give them a guide for exactly what they need to do so that this didn't happen again. To be clear, the FTC says that this is not the brand's responsibility, that it is the influencer's responsibility to make sure they do that. But I personally absolutely love when brands take the initiative and try to help influencers disclose properly. This is where Alix Earle comes in, because they also gave Drunk Elephant a slap on the wrist for her sponsored post. She had put on their hashtag Drunk Elephant partner. And what she did was she put it underneath the click more. So number one, hashtag drunk elephant partner is not enough disclosure. It has to say hashtag sponsored or hashtag ad. It has to be very clear that it's sponsored, and it must be before you have to click more. It has to be prominent on there in order for it to meet FTC guidelines. Alix did not do that. Personally, I love this oversight. I'm in full support of the FTC making sure that influencers and brands are being transparent about their relationship so that the customer can make a decision on whether that free product or that paid sponsorship makes a difference for their purchasing. I think that it's so, so important. So I'm very glad that this came to their attention, even though that wasn't the original reason why they were alerted to these posts. I'm really glad that they were alerted and that Drunk Elephant is trying to fix it. A while back, I did a piece on Dalton that y'all were just as outraged as I was when Dr. Doris Dalton, who is a doctor of chiropractic medicine, which is not a medical doctor, went on her podcast and on her Instagram with her sidekick Lee, and they talked about not using sunscreen because it was loaded with the ingredient benzene. It was, I forget what the exact term was, but it was full of benzenes, which was ridiculous because benzene is a contaminant and not an ingredient.
Which I know is controversial. I don't wear sunscreen. And
I'm with her.
I'm with her too.
I'm 110% with her.
We're not saying go out and fry yourself unprotected. Let's not get it twisted. But it's important to understand that slathering yourself in these benzenes every single day, never getting any vitamin D is just not good for you.
It's not good for you.
We live in a world where everything, unfortunately, is kind of toxic. So you have to kind of pick and choose what's going to work for you. And I think this is such a hot topic, which I find to be so interesting. It is like a religion for some people.
It's so
and it
funny.
doesn't have to be. It's
it doesn't have
what
to be.
works for you works for you. What works for me, what works for Kristen.
That's right.
Let people live. Do what works for you.
Exactly.
Modulate your toxin load, however works for you, and just take a chill pill.
And basically everything that they were saying in that video and on their social media was against science. That the benzene contamination that does happen in some spray sunscreens, they do remove those off of the market out of the utmost of caution because benzene is a known carcinogen in high concentrations. But the way that they were presenting it and how Dr. Dalton was using her doctor name to make her look like an authority in skincare when really she's an authority in cracking people's bones was really deceiving and awful. And y'all were just as horrified as I was with that. Thankfully, the UK does have better rules against these kinds of things, and they came cracking down on Boots and their number 7 skincare line. Last week, the Advertising Standards Authority, or ASA, upheld 18 complaints about television commercials for their Future Renew serum. They called it irresponsible for its lighthearted and flippant tone around sun safety. I looked for the more offensive commercial and I couldn't find it. I found the less offensive commercial and I was able to screen grab it. I'll play it for you and see if you can spot the issue.
Remember this? Can't believe we didn't always wear sunscreen.
Let's not regret our sunny memories.
Let's do something about it. Number 7's Future Renew Serum reverses visible signs of sun damage with a world-first peptide technology. Number 7, don't regret, just reverse.
Did you see it? Did you figure out what the problem was? I know it's a really short commercial. The problem was the line, remember this? Can't believe we didn't always use sunscreen, accompanied by the small print that read recommended with daily SPF usage. That was the issue. I know it seems kind of minor, right? From a US lens, it seems kind of minor, but that really wasn't the commercial that was the one that really got them in trouble. It was the one that was deleted. So it was very similar to the one I showed you, but it added the words, I know, right? We were too busy having fun. And then another line that said, let's not regret our sunny memories. And then the second woman that whispers says, let's do something about it. And then the rest of the commercial was the same as the one that I showed you. So their issue was, I know, right? We were too busy having fun. So basically kind of saying, you can choose to wear your sunscreen or you can choose to have fun because putting on sunscreen is not fun. Which I think a lot of us would agree that putting on sunscreen isn't the most fun activity in the world, but is very necessary, especially if you are going to purposely go out and bake in the sun. Boots tried to get out of it by saying, that there was nobody laying at a pool or at the beach. They were like, this really isn't, what you're saying it is, but they lost. So they did have to pull down both commercials. So I have a question for you because I can really see both sides on this. Do you think that that is too harsh? Do you kind of get what the ad was trying to say? Because I kind of feel like it's reflective of the generation that we did go out in the sun and didn't really pay much attention to the guidance of putting on sunscreen when it first came out. Honestly, I kind of get where the commercial was coming from, but at the same time, I understand that we don't want to make light of going out in the sun without sunscreen. So I really do fall in the middle, but I would love to know what you think. Do you think they should have been forced to take these commercials down, or do you feel like it really wasn't that big of a deal? Let me know in the comments. I'm going to start the story with a personal anecdote, but I promise it has a point. So if you've been following me for a while, you know my love for Target. Okay, never been sponsored by Target, have no affiliation with Target. I love Target. And part of that goes back to when I first had my son. I had an infant at home and a 3-year-old at home, and my husband was at work all day. And I was basically mental health was not good, let's just say. So Target was my happy place. That's where I would go, not even necessarily to buy things, but just to walk around of my own free will. So I have a lot of emotional and mental connection to Target because of that, because it brought me so much joy in that very difficult time in my life. So that being said, because I have this love for Target, I very rarely go to Walmart. It's just not a place that I end up because I can get everything that I want and things that I like at Target. But there was this one time I did go to Walmart because I wanted to make a video about makeup when I was reviewing makeup more regularly. I wanted to make a video about makeup specifically available at Walmart. So I go in to buy the products and did not realize that pretty much every single makeup product that I wanted to purchase for this video was locked. It was all had these little safety things on there, which are there because people steal from Walmart. I get it. But as a customer who was planning on purchasing them and is used to going to Target, where in my Target nothing is locked up, I know some Targets do have things locked up, but mine they're not. Having to hunt down somebody, it literally took me 10 to 15 minutes to find somebody, first to find someone, and then to find someone who had the right key to unlock the makeup that I wanted. I never went back to Walmart for makeup ever again. I have bought other things at Walmart since then, but I have not gone back for makeup because it's just a pain in the ass when it comes down to it. It's like, if I can go to Target and get very similar things, why would I go to Walmart and have to go through that entire process? And it looks like Walmart realizes that this is an issue and they're trying to do something about it. They do want to stop the theft, but they also don't want to inconvenience customers who actually want to purchase the products. Walmart is currently testing a program where you can take your phone and you can unlock the locks from your phone. And how they're doing it is first they're rolling it out to employees just to make sure there's no bugs, to see how the employees like it and see if they can actually functionally do it just with employees. If it goes well, they're going to open it up to Walmart Plus members, which makes sense because then they would have all the information on the person that unlocked the product. They'll have their mailing address, they'll have their credit card information, they'll have everything on this person that unlocked the thing to get the product out. Walmart had no comment when Bloomberg asked them about this new program, but apparently it has rolled out to quite a few stores at this point for the employees to practice and use. Now, having never worked in retail before, I do not know how logical this is. I was a restaurant girl. I worked only in restaurants. I worked in fast food and I worked in a Tex-Mex spot and I worked at Outback Steakhouse for like 10, 11 years. So I know restaurants, but I don't know retail. So if you know retail, I would love to know your thoughts on this. Do you think this is going to work? Let me know in the comments. In sad but not shocking news, Colored Rain is closing. And if you've never heard of Colored Rain, I'm sorry because They've produced some really, really good products. We haven't heard much from the brand in years, but they used to be at the top of the indie makeup game, especially for Black women-owned businesses. Before the Pat McGrath Mothership palettes, we had the Colored Rain Queen of Hearts palette. That was followed by Cheers to the Beauty. They were eyeshadow palettes specifically made for deeper skin tones, to show up on deeper skin tones, to blend well on deeper skin tones, to complement deeper skin tones. But people of all skin tones found joy in using these products, including my pale. Though they have had quite a few launches over the years, they haven't launched hardly anything in 2024. It looks like they had one launch in January of the Cam Quad palette and the Blend to Perfection brush set, but other than that, they haven't really released much. This past week, Colored Rain sent out an email, and they also have a notice on their website. This is what it says. Final farewell. It is with a heavy yet grateful heart that we announce the closing of Colored Rain after 12 incredible years in the beauty industry. Our journey has been driven by passion and a deep respect for our vibrant community. We're so thankful to have brought unique, high-quality products to your beauty routines. As an independent brand, we face challenges, especially in today's economic climate. For those who placed pre-orders we couldn't fulfill, rest assured you will receive full refunds. We sincerely apologize for any disappointment caused. To celebrate our legacy, we're marking down all remaining products to just $2.50. Don't miss this final chance to grab your favorite items. Exclusions apply for the 20-piece Blend to Perfection brush set, which is $10, and the Cam Quad palette, which is only $5. No codes will be accepted. Shop until Tuesday, November 19th at 12 a.m. PST before we bid farewell. Your loyalty and support have meant the world to us, and though we're closing this chapter, you will always be a part of Colored Rain's story. Please know we ask that you kindly grant us grace and patience as we work through the overwhelming support of orders received. All orders will process within 7 to 14 business days in the order it has been received. We leave you with Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. With heartfelt appreciation, the Colored Rain team. And I just want to wish Lorraine and the Colored Rain team all the best in the future. I have heard nothing but lovely things about Lorraine from Colored Rain from multiple sources. So I don't know her personally, but I do want to wish her all the best. And our last story before we do PR Purchase Product of the Week has to do, it's a happy story about e.l.f. Beauty, especially if you have e.l.f. stock, because I felt like for a while they were kind of faking it, like maybe things weren't going to go so well. They were like selling some stuff off and trying to buy. I don't understand that stuff very well. But anyway, it looked like maybe things were going to start slowing down for them because they have had so many quarters of growth for literal years, like for forever. They've been doing really, really well. But that growth, how long can growth last? At some point, things have to slow down or stop or go down. Like something has to happen at some point. It does not look like it is anytime soon, because e.l.f. Beauty sales rose 40% to $301.1 million for the second quarter of fiscal year 2025, marking its 23rd consecutive quarter of growth. An e.l.f. spokesperson said the boost for the 3 months ended at the end of September of 2024 was driven by strength in its retailer and e-commerce channels in the US and internationally, because remember, they're now selling e.l.f. at Sephora Mexico. Along with that, e.l.f. has more shelf space now at Target and Walgreens, which could contribute as well. There are other financial reasons, but again, I don't understand this stuff very well. So if you know this finance stuff really well, I definitely recommend checking the link down below because it gives the nitty gritty of a bunch of different numbers that sound like mushy goo to me. But what you need to know, especially if you own e.l.f. stock, is that they have raised their full year sales outlook to between $1.31 billion and $1.35 billion. That is up from their previous estimate of $1.28 billion and $1.3 billion. And remember, e.l.f. Beauty also owns Naturium and Keys Soul care. So that is also contributing beyond the actual e.l.f. Beauty line. There's also mention that e.l.f. may be going into Family Dollar locations, which would be amazing for shoppers of Family Dollar. I mean, Tarang Amin and the team over there, I don't know what is happening, but they're crushing it and they continue to crush it. I don't know when e.l.f. will slow down. They have to slow down at some point, but it really does not look like it's going to be anytime soon. All right, my friend, it is time for PR or purchased product of the week. This is when I share with you products that I have been using for my collection and loving, as well as products that I just got in PR that are new releases. Today, I am featuring the Too Faced holiday collection that I gave so much for because I couldn't figure out whether it was flat or whether it was three-dimensional. I was super confused. Now we know 100% for sure. Let's talk about it. All right, we are jumping right in with the Milani Supercharged Dewy Primer Base, the Sigma Skin Perfector Hydrating Skin Tint in shade 3, the Spectrum Color Correcting Duo, again by Sigma in light medium. Now we're going into the Ulta Eye Primer, old fave, the Benefit Give Me Brow Pencil, and I'm feeling a little fluffy today, so we're going with the Too Faced Fluff and Hold. Did all that off camera, because those aren't new products. But what is new is the Too Faced holiday collection that I just got set in PR. And you can see that it does puff up just slightly. It is 3D. These shades look super freaking boring, but they're actually not. We're going to start off with the most boring shade, which is the shade No Limit. It's that cream shade over on the side. And before you say this doesn't show up because it's close to my skin tone, no, absolutely not. It's just a crappy shade. But that's the only one that's crappy in this whole palette. This shade I'm using right now is the shade Keepsake. And this one, okay, this shade is kind of odd in that it does need some building, but also it kind of gets stuck on the skin a little bit and needs some extra elbow grease to get it to move. So it did take a while to build this up to what I wanted it to be, which was a nice wash of color that you could actually see. But once I got it there, I think it looks really, really pretty. Now we're going to jump into Pave All Day, and this I did not expect to be such a pretty duochrome. It's actually really gorgeous and went on very, very nicely. There isn't a lot of brown in this green brown. It's a little bit more green, and I love it. Dipping into the middle shade, which is called Precious Gems. Again, this one complemented the other duochrome really, really well. There's actually 3 duochromes in this palette. The lightest one that I'm putting on now is this shade Trinket, and I really felt like they worked well together. It's kind of got like a green and almost a purple kind of vibe, but it's not loud purple. It's like a subtle purple. I decided to go into the lower lash line with Keepsake, but honestly, it's too warm. I already in this moment don't like it and plan on covering it up, but we're going to make the match anyway. I decided to go in again with No Limit just to make sure it sucked, and yeah, it sucks. There is just no pigment to it at all. And I promise you, it's not just because it's blending into my skin. There is no pigment to this, I promise you. Now, to beef up my lower lash line a little bit, I went in with the Makeup by Mario eye pencil just in the outer corner of my eyes. I wanted to extend it a little bit more, so I grabbed this ColourPop eyeliner. This is in the shade Overboard. And now off camera, I'm going to do a little more with my eyes with the Rare Beauty eyeliner, the Bad Gal Bang mascara, and a random pair of lashes out of my spider box. I have no idea what these are, but they're now on my face. That's just the way that it rolls. We're going into the Too Faced cheek palette. I came into this with extremely low expectations, and you can see there in the packaging that it is 3D, but just a little bit. But I think that's going to make it easier to put in a drawer sideways that won't poof too much. I decided to go in with the shade Velvet Crush, which I thought was just going to blend into my skin tone, but oh no, this shade is gorgeous. I love it. It really gives that subtle, like, I've been out in the cold and my cheeks are just a little bit pink kind of look. And it's really, really pretty. And with the Milani Dewy Primer Base and the Sigma Skin Tint, I really love how glowy and natural my skin looks. And I feel like this blush just set everything off. I thought about using the highlighter, but I was like, nah, I don't need that. And last, just so you know, I did not plan to use a ton of Sigma. I just happen to really love their stuff right now. I'm using a lot of it. I'm finishing off my look with their lip creme in the shade Dapper. All right, the barriers are coming off, and I did want to show you these new earrings that I got because I think they are super freaking cute. I got these from an adorable little boutique in St. Petersburg, Florida. They're from a company called Miss Red, and I will put the link if I can find them online down below. They were only 16 bucks, and I love them. I was honestly pleasantly surprised by how the Too Faced stuff went on. Is it stellar? Is it amazing? Is it something that you need right now? Absolutely not. But is it pretty good? Yeah, other than the cream shade, absolutely really enjoyed it. And I really like the blush. So pretty. And that, my friend, was What's Up in Makeup this week. Thank you so much for watching. And of course, thank you as always to the What's Up in Makeup Facebook hunters. Their names are scrolling below me. Thank you for all of your submissions this week. I appreciate you oh so very much. We did not do sales and deals this week, but I do want to let you know that the Sephora sale is going on. Also, Ulta has some deals going on. So if you plan on shopping those and you want to give me some affiliate link commission, I'll put my Sephora and Ulta affiliate links down below. It doesn't cost you any extra, but it gives me a kickback. It's just a nice thank you. If you're already planning on shopping, then I can earn a little bit of commission just for referring you. And moving on, our live chat. That's where we're going to be talking about the products that launched this week. That, like I mentioned, 10 a.m. Eastern time is when that goes live. But if you are not able to catch it, you can always catch it on the replay. The link will be down below for you. And with that being said, thank you again so much for watching What's Up in Makeup. I appreciate you. If you would like to hang out just a little bit longer, I would love for you to stay. YouTube should be recommending a couple videos for you over here to watch, including last week's top news segment. Well, 2 weeks ago's top news segment is going to be down here. YouTube's going to pick the top one based on your current viewing history, what they think you're going to want to watch. But if you do have to go, I get it. No problem. Thank you for hanging out as long as you did, and mad love to you, and I will see you in a video very soon. Bye.